Good morning, yeah. My name is Ray Reynolds. We're here in the outskirts of Navan, Garlow Cross, Navan, County Meath. So originally, my grandfather on my father's side came here originally from County Louth. He bought the farm down the road. That's currently where my uncle is farming. He's milking over 1,000 cows at the moment. He's a serious big operator. My father obviously was working in the dairy when he was young. Branched out then. He was doing tillage with my other uncle, Uncle Pat, corn, potatoes, and he came across this farm here, which he bought to help my grandfather, and they put dry stock here. They did a lot of dry stock, a lot of sucklers through the years. And in the year 2000, my father went into free-range egg production. So he built a shed for 6,000 birds. He started with the free-range egg production, which was actually a great move at the time. It was a big risk on his part, but it was a great move at the time. There was a great demand for eggs. Eggs was on the up. Yeah, it was a great to do both at the time. It kind of set us out on a path on our own then. I was, in the year 2000, I was in college in Athlone, doing computers, and I did that for 5 years. Went off into the IT world for a couple of years, corporate world, did that. But always had an interest in farming, always would have helped over the weekends, was always involved, heavily involved whenever I could. The year 2002, my father had a chance to expand the Hens. He asked me would I come back, had an interest in farming, which I did. So came back, and we've expanded the Hens from 6,000 to over 40,000 in that time period, and the land is kind of taken all up now with the Hens. So we haven't bought any more land. We're running on 120 acres in total. We were doing sucklers here for years. 3, 4, 5 years ago we decided to change to dairy. So that's where we're at the moment, and very happy with it actually, yeah. There's plenty of guys milking around here. There's a good friend of mine, Conor McGrain. He milks over in Walterstown there, just over the road. Milks a big herd of cows. His uncle was in milk as well, Jim McGrain from Slane. Jim was getting out of milk. He had 100 cows, putting 1 million litres through the parlour every year. Really good operator, concentrated on breeding, more so than EBI and numbers of cows. So he would have stuck with the 100 cows and concentrated on his breeding for milk. Lucky for me, he was getting out. He had an awful lot of in-calf heifers, and really I took on his bloodlines, his breeding, his heifers, and it was a great start. It was a super start, and you know, he's been a great help to me too, Jim, you know, in fairness, with his experience and his knowledge, and he's always happy to help as well. So it was a great start for me, really. Jim still has replacements, so we did work with for a year or two that any calves I was having here, we were doing an awful lot to sex semen to continue on the lines. Jim was taking back the calves after they were reared. He would look after them, put them in calf and sell them back to me. So that was the kind of system we were working. As it stands, Jim's kind of getting fed up with calves, I think. So I don't know what we were going to do go forward. We have enough for a couple of years. Jim has a couple enough calves and in-calf heifers for 2 or 3 years going forward. So we're okay for the time being, but it's something we may have to look at in future. Yeah. We've dairy herd here of about 120. Recently we're coming up on 3 years milking now, using the Lely robots, an indoor system, and it's working quite well so far. The Holstein would be genetically perfect for this system for milk production, really. It would be kind of a finer animal, and plus it would not take to walking too long distances. Feet takes a little bit more minding than your average cow, I would say. But on the flip side, you're getting maybe 10 to 15 more litres per day per cow, and they're a nice docile animal. They're big. My theory would be, you know, I have more litres for less mouths to feed. Even though they probably eat a little bit more than other cows, but I'd have less heads to look after. And then I could, if I had another cow, the kind of a hybrid cow in the middle, you know, you could probably run maybe 150 cows on this system. But really I only have no more than 100 milking at any time. So it means the system is the system is never under too much pressure, and they seem to go well with it, yeah. I've cows there. I've one cow. She's a 5th lactator. She's flying. She's doing over 40 litres a day. No feed problems. going a calf, first or second time, heat. I can't see her failing anytime soon. You know, she might go for 7 lactations, maybe 8, depending. You know, some only last 1 or 2, and every farm has that, whether they're Holstein or they're Jersey or they're anything else. So at the moment, we're currently feeding 30 kilos of silage, 4 kilos of alkylage, 4 kilos of meal, and that's at the rail. So in the robot then, it's feed to yield, obviously. So there could be anything between 8 to 10 kilos, some are 12 kilos in the robots, just depending on what they're given. We're all bales. The reason we use all bales is because the main enterprise of our farm is free range egg production. So we have 4 hen sheds in the locality, and with free range hens, you need 1 hectare per 1,000 hens of range. For that range, it's solely for the hens, so you can't graze it, you can't do it. So what we do is we cut silage. We usually cut 4 cuts, sometimes we cut 5 cuts from the actual fields themselves. And the paddocks are quite small. You know, you could have a 4-acre paddock, or you could have a 6-acre paddock, 10-acre paddock. So using big outfits, especially around here, there's massive outfits around here. They're nearly too big to go into these paddocks, and then you're opening and closing the pit all the time. It just wouldn't be great. The quality of the bales is excellent. We cut kind of early and short. Quality is a premium here. You know, you need the feed, the best quality feed you can for these cows. So silage, we would do the four cuts, sometimes 5, as I said, and with the bales there's no waste. And yeah, that's why we use bales. You're never under pressure with a calving block. I couldn't really have a calving block coinciding with cleaning out a hen shed. See, the hens go for a 13-month cycle, and after 13 months we take the hens out, we clean the shed from top to bottom, disinfect it. It's 3 weeks of a bit of a slog. You couldn't have that coinciding with a calving block because it would just be too much. So calving all year round suits us really, really well. Our yield is kind of dependent on our lactation days. Our average lactation days, you try to keep them around the 160 mark, 160, 170. If you're at that mark, you're probably up in the high 30s to early 40s, 40 litres a day on average, which would be very good. Fats and proteins are running quite well. It's probably 4.5 butterfat, 3.5 protein, which is quite good for the amount of litres. And at the moment, we're kind of high on lactation days. We're up and around the 190 thing. So we're currently running about 34 litres now at the moment, but we have a number of cows to calve in the next few weeks, and we've a couple of cows to dry off as well. So that it kind of goes up and down, but we try and keep it above 35 if we can. That's the kind of aim. So litres per lactation. So a cow, on average, we're doing anything between probably 12,000 upwards. Yeah, which would be excellent. You know, 12,000. I really didn't know what they would do coming into it. Like, there were a 10,000 litre herd. Jim was running a 10,000 litre herd on a herringbone system, twice a day milking. But now at the moment, with the milking 3 times a day, it's currently at 3.1, I think, per day. You know, that brought the litres up. So we're hovering around the 12,000, I would say. Kilos is 720 plus. Hoping to get that up, obviously, as every farmer is trying to do. But it seems to be working very well. So nutritionists, we work with AWNS in Cavan there. Emma Duffy is our nutritionist, and he does this as well. He's in milk as well with Lely Robot. So he knows on the ground what's working, what's not working. He doesn't really he doesn't put stuff onto me that he's not actually prepared to himself. So it kind of helps that way, and it seems to be working very, very well. Cows are content, as you can see. They're well conditioned. So it's, again, as I said, it's like bringing the practices in from the hens to the cows. You know, if they're full of feed, good water, it should work. It should work. Yeah, so we had the collars with, as you can see, the collars on the cows. They're heat detection. So I would get a notification on my phone to say the cow's in heat. So really, I go into that individual cow. I check to see what she's given in litres, how many heats she's had, how many days of milk she's in. So it's really an individual process per cow. Like, you know, if the cow is 80 days and she's given 60 litres, it's going to be hard to get her in calf, so you nearly let her go on a little bit till she's on the decline, and then you might put her in calf then. Another cow mightn't be given that much, you might be given 30 litres, and you might say, right, okay, she's not going to get much more, so you might put her in calf at 60 days. So it's an individual thing. I would normally use progressive genetics. I use worldwide sires, bulls, just to continue on. I'm following the advice of Jim McGrain, really, with the breeding, and trying to keep his legacy going as such, you know. No bulls on site. Really, you know, if we're struggling to get a cow and calf or a couple, we get the vet, we use PRID scheme, we use that kind of stuff. So it's really paramount to try and get them in calf, and if we can't get them in calf, then we let them milk out and we get replacements in. We do beef as well, so like first serve, yeah, you might go sex semen. Second serve, you might go conventional with milk. Third serve, you might go beef. So obviously you have better conception rates with the beef. So you really, the most important thing is to get them in calf. That's the most important thing. If you can get a sex semen heifer from a good cow, it's great. It's great. But if you don't, the problem, you know, you need to get them in calf. So that's just it. As I said, I treat them as individuals. I take a look when the heat detection comes up. I would study what's going on, what their breeding is, what's the best to go with. You know, is there a red genetic in there? Will it put to a red bull? Whatever. It's all individual, yeah. Pros and cons with the indoor system. You know, cow comes in heat. The bull, depending on the bull, you know, you might start herding the cows within the shed. As you can see, it's quite calm in there. If a cow comes in heat, I can separate her, I can put her in. Bulls, we were doing sucklers here, and obviously we had stock bull. We had a Charlie bull, and actually got me in the field actually one day, the bull, and got me down on the ground. I was kind of doing a mauling job on me, and wasn't particularly nice. It was one of the reasons, probably one of the main reasons we decided to go for the milk. There was a 9 times out of 10, that's a funeral type of scenario. What happened, I was very, very lucky. I came away with no injuries really, a lot of bruising, but that was it. But for me, I just think, I think I've no danger on site here at the moment, really. I know cows are dangerous and that's when they're calving, but it's much less dangerous now than what it was. We added up at the end of the year with the risks over there and what happened to me with the bull, etc. You know, what we made monetary wise for the year, and it wouldn't have covered the physio bills really. So it was a case of, you know, that's not working. So that's what we changed really. You know, that's why we don't use bulls. It's probably a bit of PTSD or whatever you call that, maybe in a way. I don't know, but I don't think it works on an indoor system really. I don't think it does. AI, more control, and I think it's a better fit for me anyway. You know, you may have a better conception rate if you had a bull on site. With the breeding program, with AI, you can choose your bulls. So you've 7 or 8 different families within the herd, and you can go back 7 or 8 different generations. There's some of them there, maybe 10 generations more. Yeah, like I just think you have more options with AI. The cons of AI, it's expensive. You know, you're getting a fella out here to do that job. I haven't actually gone and done the course myself yet. I probably will in time. That I can do AI myself, but it's something I'm just not looking at yet at the moment. But that's really the only con, the expense. That's all I see really. I think there's more pros than there is cons. I think, for me anyway. I was dealing with clients back then. You know, you're in the world of business really. So you're coming into the farm with a different kind of outlook than someone who has stayed in the farm for kind of forever, who was born into it. You have to look at it from a business point of view, a money-making point of view, what's working, what's not working. With the IT, you know, there's an element of computers here with the robot, the 2 milking robots. Then you're using apps. The Juno, obviously the Juno's pushing the silage. There's a scraper, a collector inside. There's an element to that as well. So yeah, it definitely helps. There's an element of fear you would feel within, certainly with the older generation, regarding computers and IT, or with the robots, and it's a fear. Certainly with my dad, he would kind of fear the computer end of it, the robot end of it, and afraid he'd press a button that might stop it or do whatever. With the background in IT, I don't have any fear with that really. I feel I'm quite competent with keeping the thing going, so it does help. It certainly does help, and I think it's a better fit for me anyway. So Lely technology, so we started out with one robot. We obviously built for two. We built for two with a view of running one robot for a year, see how we get on, and maybe go with the next one. When we got the first one in, milk price was on the up at the time, going to a very high level. I had the option of buying more cows from Jim, so I had the second robot in within 5 months. So got the next robot in and got the cows in to try and get as good a year as possible to get the money back in. So the two robots came. We got the collector, got the Lely collector, which is the scraper. So obviously that keeps the place very, very clean. Helps with feet health, not that much lameness really. Keeps the place spotless. And then a year or two after that, we bought the Juno, which pushes in the silage. What I found with the Juno was any cows that maybe on the lower end of the hierarchy within the herd might be bullied away from the rail by the stronger cows. With the Juno, there's silage there all the time, so they can go wherever they want. And I felt that the weaker cows were putting on more condition, and they ended up giving more litres as a result. Yeah, so they're the main technology we have here at the moment. I think the vector system, for me, just wouldn't fit here. I think it would certainly suit big operations. I think for it to work, you probably want maybe 4+ robots. Like we've 2, so I don't think it'll work here. Feeding here, I actually like feeding the cows. We do 1 feed a day here. The vector, you know, I think the downfall for me would be if you're loading the kitchen and the food is going off in the kitchen, you'll see yields great the first day, the second day mightn't be as good, the third day mightn't be as good again, and then you're back up on again when you replenish the kitchen. So for me, this is fresh grub every day. Not putting down the vector, but it just wouldn't suit me in a way. Plus, it's more expense. I have enough automation here really for the moment anyway. So Lely as a whole, like there is other robots, there's other companies that do the same technology, similar stuff. I think service was the key. You know, they have a great service pack. You're able to ring them, they're on the end of the phone. They'll have you back up and running ASAP. Like really, I couldn't be down for more than 1 hour here, and you'd have 10, 20 cows to fetch. So realistically, you know, you have to keep the show on the road here all the time, day and night. So the service was the main pinch point for me. Yeah. So machinery wise, we have this Case Maxim 115. We do our own mowing, our own tedding, and our own raking. And then when the grass is ready, we would call our contractor for baling. There's a guy from near Atboy. He comes over and he does our baling. We get a contractor in for the slurry. Big contract for that, and that's really it. So all we do here is we do our silage, we do our mowing, our tedding, and our raking, and that's really it. After that, it's a contractor job then. So when it comes to the chickens, there's a number of different breeds that you can choose from. You know, you have Shaver, you have Isa Browns, Isa Warrens, you have Lowman, you have Highline, and there's a number of others as well. It's a bit like buying a car. It's whatever best fit your system. Realistically, we use a lot of Lowman on our farm, and the Lowman would be a very good. So you have different traits for different hens. So the Lowman you'd have good egg colour, decent egg size, hardy enough bird, good longevity. Then you have Highline, who are probably a bit calmer. They might handle light a little bit better, lay a bigger egg. Colour wouldn't be as good as the Lowman. So there's different traits for different things. We run Lowman a lot. They seem to be a decent bird, but there's other birds coming on the market all the time. And yeah, we find lowman quite good at the moment, yeah. The lowman for me would be egg colour and egg size. So we get paid on egg weight. So so obviously price for medium, price for large, price for extra large. The difference between price of medium and price of large is quite substantial. So we need a large egg. So to get the lowman into a large egg is good, is easier than other breeds, I would say. And plus the colour is very good, and it's great. Yeah, the lowman for us is a good fit at the moment. But again, there's people selling other breeds and etc. etc. So we're open to change. Obviously, we're open to evolve as time goes on. But at the moment, for us, lowman seems to be the fit for the minute. Yeah. We would purchase the hens. We'd order the hens. They come to us at 16 weeks old, give or take a week or two. So 16 weeks old, they won't lay an egg until about 22 weeks. So in that period, we train them. We try and get their body weights up. And at 22 weeks, they will start to lay, and they'll probably peak around 26, 27 weeks. They will lay on then, and we would keep them to nearly 80 weeks. So it's kind of a year. We have them a little 13 months. Same kind of practices. We brought the hen practice and management style to the dairy. It's a kind of a thing where once the hens are happy, they're full of food, they've good water, good feed, good management, good health, they'll do the business. It's a bit like the cows here, so it's the same really. I would say the management style for hens is probably a little bit finer. You have to be a little bit more on the ball with the hens, I would say. Sometimes they would say, like, if you spot a problem with the hens, it's nearly too late. So you're kind of working off your gut feeling. A lot of the time you're studying their behaviour, studying what's going on. It does help bringing that management style to the cows, because you're kind of one step ahead of it in a way here with the cows. Cows, you can medicate an individual animal. With the hens, like if you have a shed of 12,000 birds, if you find some of them are sick, you have to medicate them all. Which is a costly thing, and plus, it's so you have to really keep an eye on that. So we use the hen manure as fertilizer, organic fertilizer here. We don't purchase artificial fertilizer for the grass for the cows. So it's all kind of organic based. Plus, it saves a lot of money buying for artificial fertilizer. We're currently building a shed out there to store it, keep it dry, that we can have it stockpiled, that we can spread whenever we feel we need. One marries with the other. And it's very efficient actually for a 120 acre farm. 2 enterprises off the same acreage is very efficient. Bird flu, yeah, it's a worry. We're in that time of year again at the moment. I think there have been a couple of cases in the UK already in commercial flocks. There's a case in wild birds in Ireland so far there last month. So it is, biosecurity is very is at the forefront of our mind at the moment. So we would ensure that there's very few visits on site. Everything is disinfected, sprayed, boots are dipped, protective clothing, PPE gear, that kind of stuff. But again, you just have to keep going. It is a worry, but you do the best you can, and really you can't do much more than that. So if you keep disinfecting, keep doing using best practice for biosecurity, working with the vets, working with your producers, your packers, ensuring that everything is clean and everything is up to date, then it should be okay. But again, it is a risk. Like Greenfield are Monaghan. They take all of our eggs. Yeah, they're a great company. Yeah, we decided a lot of years ago to start vending machines. So basically, we were supplying eggs to neighbours. Neighbours were coming onto the farm, etc., etc. And as the years went on, biosecurity is a big thing. So, we couldn't have too many people visiting the farm, etc., etc. So we put a vending machine at the gate, which meant the neighbours were able to get their eggs without coming on farm 24 hours a day. So that was where it started. And then I got approached by a couple of different people. So we've 5 locations currently for the vending machines, and we fill them with fresh eggs. If anyone's in the area, feel free to use them. What's more profitable, the cows or the chickens? It swings and roundabouts, really. Not to avoid your question, but it tends, both of them are going okay at the moment. Historically, when looking to getting into the cows, you would often see that if the hens were up, the cows were down, and then if the cows were up, the hens were down. So it was a good fit to have a cash flow really all the time. You know, at least if you've one thing going okay, it's not too bad. As again, we're all struggling farmers really, and that's the crux of it really. I think I have enough of both. I have enough hens and I have enough cows now at the moment anyway for the foreseeable future. So I don't foresee, you know, bringing this 100 cows or 120 cows to 520 cows. I think that's enough for me anyway. Unless the next generation want to take it on, that's fine. But the hens as well, you know, if I need to expand on the hens, I need to buy more land. Buying land around here is hens' teeth, and we all know the hens don't have teeth. So yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell. We had the option of putting another hen shed here, and it would have been probably a similar outlay to setting up for the cows. You know, pardon the pun, not to have all your eggs in one basket. You kind of need to diversify a little bit. It does help having one with the other. Plus, I have a couple of staff here as well, a number of lads, and it's a nice break from going from one to the other. You know, it breaks the monotony of one particular job. So they have the best of both worlds, like, you know. So yeah, it works well. It certainly works well for here. Yeah. What's my 5-year plan? Sometimes I struggle to have a 5-minute plan in a way, but 5-year plan is to take this as far as I can, what I have. So I've always been a believer of you make the most of what you have first before you move on to something else. I've always been a believer in that. I'd like to diversify in other areas, maybe away from farming. As I said, I'm not in the business of buying land. I'm not in a position at the moment anyway for buying land. So make whatever I have here as efficient as possible. Like some of the hen sheds are getting a bit older, so there is going to have to be a little bit of remedial work on them sheds to keep them up to date, etc., etc. So that's a maintenance thing to keep that going. I have 3 daughters. Eldest 13, middle girl is 11, and my youngest is 7. As I said, we do have the egg machines. We do have, you know, that's an enterprise on itself really. We have the hens and we have the cows. So there's options for each of the girls really to take it on if they want to, or there's no real pressure either way. So again, a 5-year plan. I'd like to play a little bit more golf maybe. Yeah, that's really it. I can't really tell you that I'm going to have more cows or more hens or anything else. I'm going to make them what I have as efficient and as lucrative as I possibly can. Farming's a way of life. It's not a job. It's not a job. It's in my blood. I think animals, you know, some people either have it or they don't regarding animals and looking after animals, and they have, you know, it's a kind of a sixth sense really, and I think I've always had that, and I like the fact that, you know, I get a great kick out of animals performing really, really well and looking healthy and keeping it right. I've always loved farming, always. In the corporate sector, if you're in that line of work, you're dealing with people, you're dealing with deadlines, you're dealing with all that kind of stuff, and it's a different kind of pressure. It's a pressure that suits some people, it doesn't suit others. I didn't mind it, but when you're dealing with people, animals don't really talk back as such, so there's less annoyance there. Certainly coming back to work with my dad was a challenge at the beginning. You know, we two kind of strong characters trying to make decisions, and both with different outcomes, etc., etc. Anyone who works with their dad will know that, and I'm sure he had the same things with his own dad going way back. So thankfully we've probably both mellowed, I'd say, and things are working really, really well now. He's a great help to me here still. He's still the boss as such, but yeah, so that's really what made me come back. I did the corporate end of it really to kind of prove that I didn't need to come back, that it was a want more than a need, and plus it gave me a great experience in the corporate world of bringing a business aspect back to the farm, etc., etc. So that's the reason I came back. I do not regret my decision at all. There's not a day where I have to drag myself out of bed to go to work, and I don't even call it work. It's not really work. It's life, I suppose. That's really it.